asked her if she'd stay a while. She said that's really not my style. I might be here for tonight, but baby, I'll be gone in the morning light. Take me away to my favorite place, where I don't have to grow up and stay this young forever. Baby, can you play this game? So are you too busy growing up to be something you don't wanna be? Anywhere except where you gotta be tonight. Oh, you don't wanna be anywhere except where you gotta be tonight. Wherever you are tonight, I wanna be by your side. We can stay right here and get your next flight. And does it matter? And does it matter? Take me away to my favorite place, where I don't have to grow up and stay this young forever. Baby, can you play this game? So are you too busy growing up to be something you don't wanna be? Anywhere except where you gotta be tonight. Oh, you don't wanna be anywhere except where you gotta be tonight. I wanna be wherever you are, wherever you are. I wanna be wherever you are, wherever you are.
Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Araya Swift Lifestyle Pro Series here for race number 9 at Pocono. This is the Appalachian Mountains 140. I'm Ernest Leppy, your lead announcer, and joining me in the booth as always is Jacob Bell and executive producer Harold Darner. How's it going, guys?
What's going on?
Going great, man. I'm excited, Hunter. I feel like I say that every time we start these streams. Is I say I'm excited, but honestly, looking forward to tonight, our last race before we hit the Christmas break and the New Year's break. So let me be the first to wish everybody watching this stream and Harold and Hunter. I wish you guys a happy holidays from myself and from the rest of area iRacing. But yeah, final race before we hit the break, Hunter. I'm looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward for tonight's event, and not only tonight, but the rest of the week, because we're at Pocono all week. And Pocono, it's a very special track to me. It's my hometown track, or home track, basically. Just a really fascinating racetrack. It's unlike any other racetrack that we go to. It's not your typical 1.5 mile oval. It's not even an oval. It's a triangle. And you think, oh, well, how many turns are there? Because there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So what would it be, 6? Would there be 4? What 4? What turn 4? This is a 3-turn racetrack, unlike any other racetrack we go to.
Oh yeah. The racetrack tonight is going to be something to keep our eye on with all these drivers and and trying to figure out who's going to be the quickest to tackle the tricky triangle.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for everyone to get in here, we got about 8.5 minutes left in practice. We got a little highlight reel for you to show what you missed out on last week at Darlington. The pace truck pulls into pit road, and James Sheenwolf leads the way here for 100 laps here at Darlington.
Start for the 31 car. He's going to jump out to the lead, and he's going to take about 5 car length advantage over second place Dominic DeLeo, and we got a lot of cars in the wall in the back. It looks like it's the number 34 of Rick Ward.
Sideways, you just saw a sideways car on the back. Don't know if it was Dustin Carroll or not, but saw some drivers pull off way down low on the front stretch at the very start. Kind of let the field go by. Interesting strategy. But Sheenwolf will come across the line and lead lap number 1. Still no caution.
It was actually Jordan Hurley there who got into the back of Rick Ward there on lap number 1. That's kind of what triggered that whole chaotic event down there in turn 1 and 2. Everybody kind of corrected it though.
Oh, there goes the third place car, Matthew Robinson, into the inside wall.
No caution yet either.
Tough break there for Robinson. Got another one spinning near the wall. Looked like they saved it. That's JJ Wang. Oh, that's not JJ Wang. It's Nolan Carroll. My apologies.
Nolan Nieman.
Nolan Carroll. Nolan Nieman. There's 2 Nolans. Go figure. Still somehow no caution as we complete lap 2. Now that is Ryan Newman. Look at that.
Oh, Patterson in the wall hard right behind him as well. He's still riding the wall down the back straightaways, the 51. Oh, he just gets...
Oh, whoa! Oh my goodness, a major wreck on the backstretch. The 51 getting thrown up in the air.
And see exactly what Bobby saw as he was coming off of turn 2 there. Sees the guy in the wall, and just no place for him to go. Last minute, hits him right in the rear end of that 51 car. Looks like the 92 as well down there goes for a slide. That's Dustin Carroll. I believe he's racing there with Jordan Berry. Looks like slides up, almost makes contact there. It's probably here coming off the corner. Tries to get back in line and gets really sideways there. And looks like he got a little bit of help, spun it right around. Now Jordan Berry's going to get out of the way and try to let Halter go, but he's got a whole line of cars behind him. Jeremy Horn there in the 81, the 22 of Sean Corker on Dustin Carroll, the 55 car, all in a big old train, sideways off the 2, and there they go.
Oh, there they go, yep. Got a spinning car down the backstretch into the inside wall. It's going to bring out our 3rd caution of the night. And did not like the look of that as soon as we cut back to it.
No, and it's Dustin Carroll again who... I think this is his 3rd caution. He's been involved in all 3 of them. 92 car, not off to a good start for MRG throwback week for Dustin Carroll and his team. You got to look at it there with the 22 kind of stacking up into the 81, and then the 55 there gets into the back of the 92 of Carroll and sends him right around.
Jordan Berry's been pretty good.
The 21 just got
Oh
into
my gosh!
That's right in the middle of 1 and 2. It's going to bring out a yellow. Oh no! Another big hit in the middle of 1 and 2. Looked like that was the 51 again.
Yeah, he's not feeling. He's going to feel that for about a year and a half. What a hit!
I should point out all 3 of these drivers are looking for their first win. Anna Sogok, this is his first race.
First race.
He's under fire for 2nd now. Williams close to making contact, almost spinning, staying in the throttle is the 1 of Williams, and that's going to buy time for the 31 to scoot away.
Exactly.
The 31.
Oh, he's in the wall! He's in the wall! Here comes Anna Sogok on the outside with a big run. Down to the bottom he goes. Williams looking like he's going to make it 3 wide down the front stretch. He tucks back in. Anna Sogok to the lead in the turn 1.
How about that? In the last moments, he takes a bad shot to the wall, leaves the Darlington stripe, and Anna Sogok goes around. What a move.
And Hurley's coming. Hurley is the fastest car on the racetrack.
Absolutely. He is.
Oh, and he just hit the 31. He's spinning sideways down the backstretch, trying to keep it straight.
Wow.
Oh, and he gets hit from behind by Robinson. He's into the wall.
Chaos has ensued, ladies and gentlemen.
Rolls down the backstretch for the final time. A lot of question marks heading into tonight's race. Who would win? Who'd get that 25? Who'd win the throwback scheme? Rolls through 3-4 for the final time in his first race. The Eskimo. Who is this guy? He rolls off turn 4. He wins $25. He wins at Darlington.
Awesome.
They're beating down the wall for the outside the top 5. Hurley goes around.
Yep.
Saves it again. It looks like Eli Green's going to cross the stripe. And the results are in the 55. Look at them right in the wall all through turn 4 there in the back. Race is over, though. The 55, Justin Anasagic.
After saying his name more than 10 times, probably more than 100 times, he still could not pronounce it right. Justin Anasogok was your winner last week at Darlington. It's just a quick little recap of what you missed last week. I hope you were paying attention there, Jake, because it's not Anasagic or Anasagak. Anasogok. Justin Anasogok.
I was genuinely surprised when I was just looking through the, watching your recap video there for that little twist you got on the ending. But yes, I got it right now after watching him win the race, going back watching the broadcast. Justin Anasogok got the victory. I got the name down. We're going to be rolling together from here on out. But no, I think that's an awesome win for him. Obviously, he was filling in that 55 scheme for Adam Capps. Adam Capps back in the 55 this week. So Justin Anasogok is going to be running the number 88 for the rest of the season. So we'll have to keep an eye on him tonight. And keep an eye on another new name at the top of the charts. How about Travis Beckner in the 45, Hunter?
Travis Beckner in the 45. Jake, I believe you have a little more info than I do on him.
Yeah, Travis actually, speaking of the 45 car here, he made his debut last week in area in the Truck Series race. He ran pretty well in practice. He ran decent in the truck race, didn't get quite the result he wanted. But Travis actually 15 years old. He's from my neck of the woods down in South Florida. And he's actually the flagman at our local racetrack. And it's pretty cool because he's probably one of the youngest flagmen you'll see across all the United States. But he does a heck of a job up there flagging the races. And he's going to be behind the wheel tonight. So we'll have to keep an eye on the 45. We see some speed in that car already, though.
Absolutely. And he's unsponsored also. Kind of like a familiar foe, or familiar racer, I should say, Nate Trito. He's been fast the last 3 races, and he's won, but has no sponsorship on the car. So, yeah, pay attention. Maybe we'll see Beckner in victory lane. We're flying through the field here, the top 5. You see some of the drivers still in their throwback paint schemes from the previous week in Darlington, including Jordan Hurley, who's now 4th on the chart. Still got the Ryan Newman throwback, the 02.
Maybe he just likes it.
That's fair.
Well, another thing could be he's brand new to Audible Racing. Last week was actually his first race as a member, as their team points driver for Audible Racing. So maybe that's the only scheme that got whipped up for him. But I'm sure that's probably not the case, considering when you look through the field, you'll see about 8 other Audible Racing machines tonight. Only 2 of them are official points drivers, so you got to remember that. So it's the 31 of James Shanewolf and the 02 of Jordan Hurley. Those are the official Audible Racing drivers. The other drivers that got the Audible colors on tonight that we'll see across our screen, I believe it's the 4 of Paul Irvin, the 88, Justin Anasogok, and the 92 of Dustin Carroll. Those drivers are a member of Audible Racing in terms of sponsorship, but not the official team drivers, but obviously a good group of people. And also want to give a shout out to Audible Entertainment for a big donation on something we've been working on, and that I'll touch on here in a little bit after we get qualifying underway here, Hunter. But practice is over.
Are you seeing
practice.
the 4 in an audible? Because I'm seeing him completely white.
Yeah, I did see him in an audible, so I'm not sure why, but that's weird because he's got that all white scheme on with the contingency. So we'll have to get another look at that, which is interesting. But practice is finished up here, Hunter. We got qualifying coming up.
I was going to say, the car seems to be camouflaged with the wall, and I know we're up in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, where hunting is very familiar. So different kind of camouflage as we hit this 2.5-mile triangle. Not an oval, not a tri-oval, not a road course, a triangle.
No other track like it. Like you mentioned there in the open, probably the most unique racetrack we'll go to this season. And I think it'll be an interesting race to see how it plays out in terms of strategy as well. So you got the 18 here, Caleb Steimer on track. Man, he just can't seem to catch a break, Hunter.
No, not really. We're hoping to see a solid run here from Caleb as he gets a little squiggly there through the tunnel turn.
Oh, how about sorry to cut you off there. I was looking at his hometown, Walton, Kentucky. The terrible tornadoes and storms we saw roll through there last week, and I guess I'll go ahead and mention it now. We do have a fundraiser that we have started here with Area iRacing, and I just can't thank everybody's support enough for the funds we've already raised. We're up over $500 in just a few days. I'll go ahead and put the link down in the chat of ways you can donate. But Hunter, this Friday we're going to be going dirt racing, man.
Yep, we'll have a charity race going on for the Kentucky Tornado Relief. It's going to be, and there you see on the screen, you can scan the QR code on the right side of the picture to donate to the American Red Cross. Be 60 drivers in an entry to race at USA on dirt.
Yep.
Only 24 drivers are going to be able to make it to the main event, but each entry is a $5 fee, and that $5 will go to the American Red Cross. And throughout the stream, anytime you guys want to donate, you can go ahead and click on the donate button somewhere down below, and it'll show up on the screen. We've already had some big donations in, and I will definitely be pitching in along with Jake.
Yep.
We hope to raise a decent amount of money for the people in Kentucky.
Yeah, and we'll get right back to qualifying here in a moment, but I do want to touch on the reasoning behind this is, obviously just a catastrophic event. But for me personally, I spent my past year living right there in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which was one of the major cities impacted. So that community really, really means a lot to me. It truly is my second home, and the news coming out of there was just absolutely devastating to me. And we wanted to figure out a way to help, and we have luckily this amazing community. Everybody a part of Area iRacing is honestly such a blessing. So I figured let's use the numbers we got and try to raise some funds. So I went and I threw the donation link down in the chat. Like Hunter mentioned perfectly there, it's $5 fee or $5 donation technically to register for the event. But we've already had sponsors like Tyler Hallman. I just got to give him a special shout out. Over a $200 donation today from Mr. Hallman. That was incredible. Audible Entertainment also with a big donation. Lodgebox Developments, Dawson Miller with Miller Racing Graphics have donated a big chunk of change already. So like I mentioned, we're up over $500 and we're hoping to get to that 1K mark by the time Friday rolls around. But that race will be special. But we do got a race we got to get to here tonight, and it's the 88 of Justin Anasogok, who's got the quick time, and we got one driver sliding through turn 3 there. But a bunch of guys putting up some qualifying laps here, Hunter.
Yeah, that car you saw spinning was the camouflage car that I'm going to call in now. So we ride through here. This is a 34 of Rick Ward. I believe he's on, I don't know if it's lap 1 or lap 2. I currently don't have my scoring up, so I'm going to have to go off, excuse me, I'm going to have to go off the screen for this race. But let's go ahead and take a quick lap around this racetrack, because each turn is very different. So you go down the Long Pond straightaway, then you head into turn 1. Now, each turn is configured a different way, and it's from a previous racetrack. So coming through turn 1, it's made after Trenton Speedway. Trenton Speedway is the only racetrack known with a right turn on the backstretch. And then here we have turn 2, the tunnel turn. This turn is shaped after Indianapolis. Each corner of Indianapolis is the exact same. And then we're going to head down this second backstretch before we get into turn number 3. And this is a long, winding left turn, which resembles Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Mile. So each turn is from a different racetrack, and it's all merged into one with a big straightaway after each turn.
It almost sounds like you're describing some fake racetrack that iRacing made up, but this is a real place. I mean, obviously we've all watched it, every year when the NASCAR series go here, and it's just crazy to see such a unique racetrack. But 34 Rick Ward, he's going to cross the stripe and complete his lap 15th on the time charts for him.
There's a camouflage car again. I believe that's the 4. Trying to remember.
Irvin there.
Paul Irvin?
Yep, Paul Irvin. I actually raced with him quite a bit. He was a member of JBR at one point, so glad to see him hopping here in Area iRacing, and we're going to see what he's got, as I believe he's completing his second lap here, and he's going to go to second on the charts. 55-19, correction, I believe that's third, actually.
Yes, that is third.
They're right behind Shane Wolf there.
Ooh. Thank you, producer Harold.
Yeah. I think that was hidden. I don't think anybody else heard him but you, Hunter. I don't think that went through the broadcast. Am I right, Harold? There you go. We got the
Oh,
whispers
okay.
down now. So that's like your little production fee. That's your little magical piece in the ear you're hearing. Nobody else hears it.
But you
That
know,
was
he
funny.
spoiled it now, but that's all right.
I liked it though. That was cool. I felt like we're professionals up here, even though we're far from it. Well, at least I
There we
am.
go.
You two seem to get yourselves around here pretty good.
I got scoring again, thanks to executive producer Harold Darner. Thanks again, Harold.
Well, you know, we aim to please, you know. That's the one thing about computers. Everything can always go wrong.
We got the 45 here on track, Travis Beckner, and he was the quickest car in practice, which is why I want to see what he runs here on his qualifying run. He just started the lap going down into turn 1 here, Hunter. And Hunter, man, you've been killing it so far. You took us through the track. You talked where each corner's from, ran through the fundraiser notes. You're on top of your game here tonight.
I try to be, and especially considering it's Pocono, it's a track that I enjoy going to the races. And I say races, I've only been to one race, but I enjoyed it very much. And that was the 2019 race at Pocono. It was the second race in which Denny Hamlin won. So that was cool for me.
Crowd favorite.
Yeah, it's a crowd favorite.
I'm sure.
And we were gonna go. Me, my dad, and his friend. He had an RV, so we were gonna go camping in the infield for the entire weekend in 2020. But the COVID pandemic hit, and we couldn't do that. And then we didn't get a date figured out for 2021. But I took it upon myself to go the entire weekend at Pocono, and I'm also gonna try and go to Dover before. Who knows what's gonna happen to that track?
So Beckner crosses the line for lap 1, and it's going to put him 15th. So not the lap time we were expecting there. Trevor Williams is going to jump up to 5th. So good lap there for the number 1. Hunter coming into tonight. The playoff picture is just about as tight as it can get around that bubble between Trevor Williams and Sean Corcoran. And oh, guess what? They qualified right next to each other as well. So there's that. Is Beckner's here coming to turn 3 to complete lap number 2.
Yeah, a couple things I didn't touch on. We have less than 2 minutes in qualifying, but last week, Justin Anasogok, he's on the pole now. Last week was his first race ever in Araya, and he started deep in the field. I was looking back to get the recap video up. He started outside the top 15, and he drove all the way up to the front and got the lead and won in his very first race. So could we see another new winner this week? Because we have the 4 of Paul Irvin there, and then you mentioned Travis Beckner. They're sitting 3rd and 4th right now. They've shown speed in practice and in qualifying. Could one of those guys get a win tonight?
I think we will see it as we take a look here at our playoff picture now. Matthew Robinson, Jordan Hurley locked in with their wins this season, and then as well Nicholas Halda, Rick Christensen, who's not in the field tonight, by the way. So tonight is the last race Rick Christensen can miss before he becomes not playoff eligible. So that'll take him out of the playoffs. That would be interesting if we get to that point. But there, I mentioned it, Hunter, that battle around the playoff line. Sean Corcoran in right now, but just 1 point behind him, the number 1 of Trevor Williams. And those two, you can tell the competition's starting to heat up.
Oh, absolutely. Those in green locked in. Those in yellow are currently in, but not locked in officially. And then as you see on the bottom, Sean Corcoran and Trevor Williams currently 1 point separating the difference between being in the playoffs and then being out. Then you got Rick Ward, Brandon Hedrick, and Caleb Steimer. Steimer only 27 points back, but looking for a solid run here tonight in order to move up.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is a track you can do that at. It's going to have some time. It depends. I feel like when you go to Pocono, you either got that crazy caution-filled race where it's chaotic nonstop, or you got the long green flag, long run race. And we'll have to see what we get tonight. Qualifying is over, though, and Justin Anasogok from his win last week at Darlington going to come back and qualify on the pole in the number 88 car, and it's officially over now, so we're going to get you a lineup set, and here we go, Hunter.
Yep, so starting on the pole, you're going to find Justin Anasogok, and then alongside him, James Shane Wolf.
Starting P3, Paul Irvin making his first Swift Lifestyle Pro Series debut tonight. And starting 4th, Travis Beckner. Oh, it's also his first Swift Lifestyle Pro Series start as well.
Row number 3, we're going to find the 40 of Matthew Robinson, and then alongside him, the 84 of Ford Smith.
Matthew Robinson, the new number 1 in the power rankings this week on AreaIRacing.com. Row 4, that's where you're going to have Trevor Williams and Sean Corcoran. Those two just inside that playoff battle. 1 point separates them.
Row 5, we'll find the 69 of Gary Lewis, and alongside him, the 81 of Jeremy Horn.
Starting 11th is going to be Eli Green, and starting on his outside, Ryan Swan. So I guess that's our row of admins.
Yep, and then in row 7, we'll find Dominic DeLeo, and alongside him, JJ Wang.
Jordan Berry's going to roll off inside row 8. Outside of him is going to be the 92 of Dustin Carroll.
In row number 9, we'll find the 51 of Mark Patterson, and alongside him, Adam Capps.
Nicholas Holda, our Daytona winner, and Nolan Nieman is going to round out the top 20 starters.
Oh, we got to say that every time we talk about Nicholas Holda. Row 11, it will be Caleb Steimer and Bobby Tinch. Next row, row 12, Rick Ward and Jordan Hurley choosing not to qualify. That's an interesting one. And then in the last row, row 13, Brian Dixon. Good to see Brian Dixon back. Yep, Mr. Top 10. Good to see him back, and that is your full field. 25 cars slated with 55 laps here tonight.
So
just a little over 137 miles. One thing to look at for fuel, it's somewhere between 25 to 30 laps. We could see some drivers stretch it on a fuel run. That's if we go green the rest of the way.
Yeah, I hate to cut you off there, but I wanted to get to the picks because I had an interesting conversation pre-race with one of the drivers. So I'm very curious who your guys' pick to win here tonight is. Hunter, I know you don't want to make a pick, but we got to start with you, man.
I'm going to look at the driver who's starting deep in the field, 24th. Give me Jordan Hurley getting the win.
Harold, going to you. Who you got?
I'm going to pick the all-white of Paul Irvin.
Man, see, that was the note I wanted to make. So Paul was the driver I talked to pre-race. He said, hey, man, no matter what, just please don't pick me in the pre-race thing. So I was like, well, let's see what the code guys up in the booth got. So that's going to be funny. I'm sure he's not so thrilled to hear that he's a pick for tonight. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take my buddy Travis Beckner, the 45 car starting fourth.
Yep, both of those guys, Paul Irvin and Travis Beckner, starting in row 2, just behind our front row. That's consisting of James Shamewolf in second and Justin Anasogak, your pole sitter. Here's the hard left turn from the pace truck on the pit road, and down the long pond straightaway we go. Green flag is out here at Pocono.
Long straightaway. You see the moves being made. There's one guy going down, making a 3-wide move as they headed to turn 1. They're still side by side up front, though. It's James Shamewolf taking the lead.
Got some blinking there going on. I believe that's the third place car of Travis Beckner. But yeah, honestly, expected to see more drivers fanning out on the front straightaway. Sometimes we see 4-wide before we go into turn 1.
Yeah, I was hoping that we did see a little bit more excitement than we did, but I'm sure these guys are saving that for later on in the race tonight. Anasogak's going to settle into second, so it's almost a replay of last week where we saw the 31 of James Shamewolf in first and the Justin Anasogak machine trying to run him down for that top spot as they enter turn 3. Lap 1 going to be coming to a close here in a moment, and it looks like James Shamewolf's going to be our race leader.
Ooh, someone got close to the wall there in turn 3.
Down there.
Yeah, Ryan Swan's another one of the drivers who lacks attention. He said it himself, due to lack of attention, we're going to run this paint scheme again. He's running the Jeff Gordon throwback that he ran the previous week at Darlington. Him and Jordan Hurley, as far as I can see, are the only ones who are still in their throwback paint schemes. But nonetheless, they're still cool-looking cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a lot of cool-looking cars that aren't throwback schemes. One of them being this 31 of James Shamewolf showing the way so far. Really like the look of that paint scheme. He's got the spec maps worked out on that car, little metallic effects going down the side and the front end of that machine. So good-looking race car there, and he's showing the way right now too. But pretty calm up front, top 5 single file. First battle I see, it looks like it's Eli Green back there for the 6th spot. Looks like he's got Gary Lewis and Forrest Smith all over his bumper, the two teammates for One Mind to Design. So there you see the top right fastest lap. It was James Shamewolf. Then it went to Matthew Robinson. Oh. The field probably doesn't want to see that. He's only in 4th. Most of the time Robinson has to come from about halfway through the field. Tonight he's already in the top 5. So
you know what?
Quick.
I'm going to say Robinson is still in his throwback because I remember that gold paint scheme previous week. Although I will say the one thing that's got to be challenging for him, though, is the car in front of him. Mr. Beckner, Travis Beckner in the 45, keeps blinking in and out. If you blink, you might miss him because he's been disappearing a lot.
Yeah, obviously our admin here tonight, Brad Slaughter Jr., taking a look at that. If it becomes deemed a hazard, he might have to ask the 45 car to pull down pit road, but he's going to give him a heads up and give him a few laps to try to fix whatever's halting the internet connection there in the 45. Seems to have stabled out a little bit, though, for the moment. He's still riding third, as you mentioned, right in front of Matthew Robinson. Eli Green, who just got clear of the Gary Lewis machine, he is now running the quickest laps on the racetrack from P7.
Oh, looks like we got a battle for second hand. So got up high to come off of turn 1. Got Beckner down on the bottom, but he's all alone, and the draft is all the way up top. So it looks like Robinson's going to take away third, and then you got the 4 car right behind him of Paul Irvin. It's a nice little shot. They come through the tunnel turn.
It's a good look how close these guys get to that outside wall off the end. It's tricky, man. That's a tricky triangle, especially if you get a little too much steam in that race car trying to get a run off the turn 2. Next thing you know, you're in the outside wall. So far, though, everybody's doing a good job holding their car together and trying to hold on to their tires and make this long run happen. Shane Wolf, though, continuing to show the way, and now he's starting to stretch out that lead ever so slightly.
I would say Audible's got to like it because they got their name blasted on the top 2 right now. Robinson's looking close to making a move on Beckner for the 3rd spot. So here he is side by side going into the tunnel turn. Robinson on the bottom, Beckner up top. Here comes Irvin down on the bottom, looking to make a move on Robinson.
The racing's starting to pick up a little bit right behind Travis Beckner, our 3rd place driver. As you see, a great shot there, the bigger cam down inside the racetrack there. Gives you a good shot at these race cars coming through turn 3. But the business is starting to pick up. The battles are getting a little bit heavier there, and they involve Travis Beckner, Paul Irvin, the 40 of Matthew Robinson, the number 1 of Trevor Williams, and the 28 of Eli Green now. A little 5-car pack from 3rd all the way back to 7th.
I'll say don't count out don't count out Travis. I almost said Travis. Trevor Williams. Gosh, that's like a tongue twister for me tonight. I was gonna say he looked like he was going to make a move through turn 3 that previous lap, but they tucked in. He's currently riding 6th.
Well, you know what this means, right? With him riding 6th and Sean Corcoran riding 10th, that 4-position difference is enough to put Trevor Williams inside the playoffs right now. He was 1 point behind the 22 entering tonight. He's 4 positions better than him. So right now, if the race were to end, Trevor Williams would have that final playoff spot. So a really, really big race going on within the race tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Those that are not locked in, every spot matters. So here you see Eli Green looking to the bottom of Trevor Williams down on the front stretch. That's the battle for 6th.
Another battle. Sorry, I hate to cut you off again there, Hunter, but another battle I wanted to talk about is the team championship battle, because all of a sudden that's extremely tight now. The team of One Mind to Design, which has the 69 of Gary Lewis, as well as the 84 of Forrest Smith. They started this season, Hunter, 1 race behind in terms of points, right? They didn't show up to Daytona. They weren't even a team till after Daytona. Well, since then, they've been able to track down the Samson Motorsports ARCA team, and entering tonight, the Samson Motorsports team had a grand total of, give me 1 second to pull it up here. I'm trying to get to it as quick as I can. Samson Motorsports coming in tonight, a 14-point advantage over One Mind to Design somehow. So they've made up that deficit, and it's going to be heads-up racing between those 2 teams, which includes Sean Corcoran and Bobby Tinch for Samson, as well as the 69 and the 84 for One Mind to Design.
Yeah, I got to give big props to Gary Lewis and Forrest Smith. These guys consistently run inside the top 10, and that's the kind of speed you want heading into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So you see the cars coming down turn 1 after they go through the long pond straightaway. Then we head to our 2nd straightaway. They're flying down the backstretch.
Gonna have to just tie that camera down or something.
Well, that's why they had to put a catch fence there, because it was just tied to a bush, and then they would lose after about 5 laps or so.
there's the 57 of Jordan Berry. Been missing him for a few races this season, but glad to see him back in here. He's running inside the top 15. He's got the 12th spot right now. Right behind him, the 81 of Jeremy Horn. And looks like he's racing behind Dominic DeLeo. So that'll close inside the top 10 almost for 57 of Jordan Berry. No changes up front, though, Hunter. It's been single file since the drop of this green flag almost.
Yeah, some close battles here and there, but nothing too major. Just Shane Wolf trying to distance himself from Sogok, and the battle's gone down to about half a second now between the two.
Is there anybody who's been impressing you so far? I mean, we're only 9 laps in, but 9 laps at Pocono takes quite a bit of time and quite a bit of finesse as well to work your car around this racetrack.
I gotta say Travis Beckner and Paul Irvin, those two making their first start in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. They started in the second row. So far, they're doing good, although Beckner's been blinking in and out. Seems like he's gotten that under control. And, yeah, really just a solid job from those two early on.
How about 14th place? It's Nolan Nieman in the number 15. Kind of looking through the field here, trying to figure out who's been our comers and goers so far. Nolan Nieman started this race in the 20th spot, and he's worked his way all the way up to P14 already, just in front of these guys right here you see on the racetrack. So a pretty solid start to the night for Nolan Nieman. That 15 machine, there he is, right in front of Jeremy Horn. Picking him up and putting him down. He's actually up to 13th now, so +7 in 10 laps for the 15 of Nolan Nieman.
Yeah, absolutely. It's early on, but that just shows you that he's got a good enough car where he can make passes in traffic.
And, you know, the last place we saw Nolan Nieman run really strong was at Iowa, and there's no track that you can compare to Pocono, but Iowa was a unique racetrack in its own right. So maybe that uniqueness of a racetrack plays into the hands of Nolan Nieman, where he could really, you know, start making some ground on the long runs here tonight. And there's Eli Green, though, the 28 car. He just got around Trevor Williams for 6.
That is what Sean Corcoran wants to see, as he's now starting to put some gap between him and Dominic DeLeo. They're side by side right there. Believe that's Jordan Berry, and that is Forrest Smith with Nolan Nieman in tail.
Want to give a big shout out as well to everybody watching on the Twitch stream. Reminder, guys, we're going to be having a big fundraiser race this Friday. It's going to be dirt racing for the first time ever in Area iRacing. We're going to the dirt, and we're going to be raising some money for those affected by the tornadoes this past weekend in the Kentucky and Midwest states. Nick Trader with a donation to the Red Cross Foundation on our link, so I appreciate that. Nick Trader, wanted to give you a quick little shout out here.
Yep, absolutely. Looking forward to that. Hoping to raise some money for a good cause and a good night of racing also.
And I went to share the link, but I see you already had it on there. I should have just let you handle it. Good job, man. You're doing my dirty work.
Got everything set out.
We're ready to go tonight, man. We're rocking and rolling right now. Now all we need is a little bit more action on the racetrack.
It looked like we were going to have some action there back between Dominic DeLeo. Jordan Berry up to 11th.
Still trying to find, you know, somewhere where I see a battle going on. I'm just not able to really see two drivers, you know, side by side. There you see Ryan Swan, looks like, on the top, racing with JJ Wang. That's for the 15th spot. But other than that, JJ's actually going to take that position away. Other than that, pretty calm. Yeah,
I've been keeping an eye on that battle. They've been going at it for the last few laps or so.
Yeah, Ryan really
really
going
Nick
the wrong
Calder.
direction too. He started 12th, and he just got passed by 3 drivers right there in the last lap. He's going to be back in the 18th spot, I believe, 17th spot. So he's going the wrong way in that number 9.
Oh, we got a spin on the backstretch. Oh, no, he saved it, but he went all the way to the inside wall. I think that's Bobby Tinch.
Yeah, I believe so. I see the Northern Capital logo on the front there. That's our 66 car, Bobby Tinch. She's one half of the Samson Motorsports team here in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series, and good little save down there, but going to cost him a lot of time on the racetrack.
Yeah, I was looking towards the back. He clipped the wall coming out of turn 3, and that's a big no-no spot because we've seen in the previous years here at Pocono where you get loose or you clip that wall and your car just goes spinning right down, almost down the pit road. That's why and you'll see it here, the pit road wall, they extended it further up from the racetrack and not further down because of what happened with Casey Kane 2015. I don't know why it's so vivid. I got vivid memories of all sorts of NASCAR moments. But 2015, there were 2 identical spins, and that's why they had to push the pit wall upwards. And it looked like Tinch was going to hit the barrels. Thankfully, he did not, and we are still green flag racing. As you see, this is the battle for third between 2 newcomers. Travis Beckner on the outside there in the black car, and down low is Paul Irvin in the white. So they're going to be side by side heading into the tunnel turn, with Matthew Robinson looking behind.
Yeah, first battle we've seen inside the top 5 all night, and Irvin's just going to barely squeeze out in front of Beckner. Beckner kind of checked up, it looked like a little bit there, to avoid some wrecking action going on, because he had to give up that spot to Irvin, moved the 4 up into 3rd, Beckner back to 4th, and Matthew Robinson looking to pounce on both of them.
Yeah, it looked like Robinson was getting a pounce heading into turn 3, but the 45 blinked once more, and it's kind of shook a little bit. Actually, you know what? I want to ask you that, because I know you've probably had it happen to you a couple of times, but you're just faster than the car in front of you, but they keep blinking. What does that do as a driver like Matthew Robinson?
You know, it's probably not too bad here at a track like Pocono, and especially in the conditions they're in right now. You know, they're pretty spread out. It's a big, wide racetrack. You can see your corners from a far distance, so probably not the worst place in the world to be blinking. But it's still not a fun, case to be behind that. But it looks like Robinson's going to look underneath him now in turn 2. And is he going to be able to make the pass? Beckner with a nice run on the top there. They're going to be even heading into turn 3. How about Matthew Robinson racing with the 45 of Beckner for the spot inside the top 5? And I think Robinson's going to get him here on the exit of turn 3.
Not only is there a battle right there, there's a battle right behind him. As you see, that's the 1 of Trevor Williams. And on the outside, it's Eli Green. They're side by side for the 6th position, and Green's going to have the spot.
Yeah, those two seem to be pretty evenly matched, the number 1 and the number 28. We've seen them flip-flop position a few times since the start of the race. Now it's the 28 leading the 1, with the 1 now looking to make a move back around them. But so far, it's all James Shanewolf out front.
Yeah, Shanewolf still leading, although the gap has closed once again to about half a second between him and Justin Anasogok.
And we're green. I don't know if I can't say that. I think we kind of talked about it pre-race, right? I said it's either one of those messy races at Pocono where you get a lot of cautions, or it's the long, strung-out green flag run kind of races at Pocono. And it looks like we're getting the latter when it comes to tonight's event. But Anasogok, for the first time, closing in on James Shanewolf, it looks like slightly. About a 1/10 of a lap quicker. That time he about a 1/10 of a lap slower than James Shanewolf. So they're giving one and they're taking one.
Oh, another car just hit the wall back there. It was a red car, I believe. Trying to figure out what red car that was, but someone definitely clipped the wall again coming out turn 3. Might have been Ryan Swan.
Might have been. I think he's one of the few red cars we got here tonight.
Yeah, it was just at the very exit of turn 3. But
Right
looking
here.
through...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, looking through our chat, got a question from Muffin 2709, fuel mileage. We touched on this in the early going. We got a little sideways action there from JJ Wang in the back, but fuel mileage is anywhere between 25 to 30 laps, and that could increase as the race goes on. We could see some drivers stretching it over 30 laps, maybe 32, 33.
Well, it just got a call for our first driver on pit road. It's the 87 of Nick Holda from the 18th spot. He's going to be hitting pit road. He called out just now. So maybe these guys are going to try to make it a 2-stop race and pit every 18 laps or so. But I agree with you, Hunter. I think, they might try to stretch it out to 25, 30 laps and only have to come down pit road one time.
Very well could be, but with Nick Holda, I'm not sure. That might have been an unscheduled pit stop.
No, well, he called it out, which makes me think it is the schedule. Typically, if a driver calls out he's coming to pit road, it is a scheduled stop, and he's trying to get on and off as quick as possible. But he's still on pit road currently, so who knows? Battle, though, between Travis Beckner, Eli Green, Matthew Robinson, all those guys, just at the tail end of the top 5. There you see it. Beckner, who was running 3rd, now he's sliding outside of the top 5. He's got Eli Green and Trevor Williams looking to make a pass on him.
You see, this is the point in the stage, point in the race where we will see some comers and goers.
Yeah.
It looks like, although everything can change as soon as a caution comes out, Beckner looks like he has a car that is not capable of a long run.
Yeah, maybe ran through those tires a little bit too quick there on the 45 car, costing him some positions right now. Looks like it was a scheduled stop, by the way, on Nick Halda because he's off of pit road. He's just barely in front of our race leader, James Shanewolf, so he's on the lead lap still, and I think that was a scheduled stop. So we might see some more people coming in here the next handful of laps.
I thought he went a lap down.
No,
he's
in
still
front
on the
of our
lead
race
lap.
leader. Barely, though. He might be.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pocono is one of those racetracks where you can pit, like say you're inside the top 5 or top 10, you can pit and you can come out still on the lead lap. That's just how big this racetrack is.
Yeah, absolutely. And here you got to look at Jordan Hurley. He started way in the back, Hunter. You actually picked him to win tonight. He started 24th. He's up to 13th. Here comes Dom DeLeo right behind him to pit road. But Hurley, the newest member of Audible Racing, teammates now with James Shanewolf. He looking to have a strong run here tonight in that number 02. DeLeo is in. I believe he's the only one on pit road this time around.
Yeah, looking through Dominic DeLeo, the only car on pit road as we speak. Although it seems like we'll have more people coming down pit road in the next handful of laps or so.
You mentioned it though, Hunter. These guys being able to pit and stay on the lead lap, well, that only works if they're a certain distance behind the leader to begin with. So DeLeo, who was running well inside the top 15, when he saw Nick Halda pit from 18th and maintain his lead lap position, I think that's kind of what brought the 21 down to pit road, knowing that he could come out right in front of our race leader, James Shanewolf.
Absolutely. Anyone that's basically inside the top 10, maybe a little bit out, depends on how far you are from the leader. You can pit and come out still on the lead lap, and you'd have the better tires than the leaders who would be right on your tail, so you can just drive away from them easy.
Yeah, so you see it. We can try to get a camera shot over to it, but DeLeo is out of pit road now and right in front of actually the 87 and Nick Halda as well, and then you can just go a little bit further back. So there's DeLeo. You see Nick Halda right behind him, about, you can say 10 car lengths or so. And then another little bit of a half track back to our race leader, which is James Shanewolf, and they're actually making up ground as we speak. So that strategy plan seems to be working out for them, and we see some other people jumping on board with it. Caleb Steiner in the 18 car now on pit road. Rick Ward also now, the 34 machine, calling that he's going to be coming to pit road. So we'll see. I'm curious to see when anybody within this top 7 or 8 decide to come down, because that'll be the real game changer. Once we see somebody in the top 10 hitting pit road, it's going to be pretty much game on from there. You're going to want to pit early. You're going to want to be the first car on pit road that can make it the rest of the way. So that might be right at lap 27. That might be, a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, it very well could be. It all depends. And like you said, any one of these top 7 or 8 cars that come in, that'll bring about most of the field coming in.
Got a really good question there in chat that even I'm curious about. So he asked what the fall off is with these tires compared to fresh tires. Well, James Shanewolf, his fastest lap of the race came on lap 2 where he ran a 55.4. Right now, his last lap, he ran a 57.1. So over a second and a half of fall off on these tires. And that seems to be pretty consistent throughout most of our field. So pretty significant fall off. That's why these guys are able to come out right in front of the leader and start pulling away like Hunter mentioned.
Well, it looks like we got a 3-wide battle going on for 5th. That's between Eli Green, Trevor Williams, and then the number 45 of Travis Beckner. They were 3 wide at one point coming off turn 3. Green's going to have the 5th spot for the moment. Beckner down to the bottom. Williams will watch on as he now makes his move on Beckner.
That race car does not seem happy right now, that 45. It looks tight getting into the corner, not able to get the rotation he needs, and that's a common symptom you see of bad tire fall off. So the 45 right now, Beckner struggling a little bit, but hey, he's still running inside the top 10.
It's still a solid showing. I gotta think, though, that running the outside of the tunnel turn had to eat up some of the use of his tires.
Yeah, potentially, for sure. You see aggressive move there. Dustin Carroll in the 92 taking away that position from Nolan Nieman and bringing J.J. Wang along with him. Nieman, who we saw kind of charging towards the front that long green flag runs, losing some spots now, but these guys are racing hard. Right behind them, you see the 9 of Ryan Swan, and then the 33 of Brian Dixon. Hunter, Brian Dixon has, I believe, the most top 10s in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series behind Matthew Robinson. Do you think he gets one tonight? He's got a long way to go.
He very well could. I mean, I wouldn't count him out. But it's just literally as soon as the caution will come out, well, I shouldn't say will come out. If a caution comes out, that can change everything.
Well, you know, with Dixon, his strongest suit, I think, if I can speak on him, is that he's able to keep that car clean and make all the laps and make it to the finish of the race. So he's doing just that right now. Unfortunately for him, though, he is in the 19th spot, so a long way to go. Look at Beckner hanging that car out of turn 3 and a few others behind him. Looks like Jordan Hurley driving off the corner real hard as well. So that's a pretty good shot there. You can see these guys really fanning out. Coming out of turn 3. Still waiting on these guys to come down pit road up front. Almost approaching the halfway point, so you got to think that these guys are trying to make it to at least lap 27 to be sure they can make it to the end on just one stop.
I'm looking. You said Brian Dixon had the second most top 10s behind Robinson?
I believe so. That was a guess.
It was
missed last week, but
there were 3 drivers with 6 top 10s, and they are Shane Wolf, Hurley, and Forrest Smith.
Look,
Brian Dixon only has
Brian
4.
some love. He's got 7 starts and 4 top 10s. That's a pretty good stat line in my book.
That's more than half.
Yeah, there you go. Average finish is up there too. An average finish of 9.4. Yes, that's pretty good. Very few incidents on the season as well. So gotta give him some love there in that 33 car. He's having a solid run here tonight. And now we've approached lap 26, Hunter. So we're 1 lap away from the halfway point. You got to think these guys are looking to hit pit road.
Yeah, gotta be looking. Although you might find some drivers that try and stretch it all the way to the end in fuel. And the good thing from that is if it goes green the rest of the way, you have the better set of tires at the very end. Looking through here, that's JJ Wang, and then the 92 of Mr. Carroll. Almost called him the wrong name again. Dustin Carroll, almost called him Nolan. That's about right around the 16th spot. No, 15th, excuse me. 15th and 16th on the racetrack currently. Looking through here, there's Jeremy Horn in a 1 line to design sandwich with the 84 of Forrest Smith in front and the 69 of Gary Lewis behind. These guys are running 10th, 11th, and 12th on the racetrack. Up front, you got a side-by-side battle between Sean Corcoran and Travis Beckner. Beckner looks like he's going to get in front of Corcoran for the moment. Jordan Hurley continues to work his way through the field, now up to 8th.
And Corcoran up to 7th also is a key point because he's gotten around that number 1 now. Ooh, look at that tight race in there with Jordan Hurley. But that's the battle for that final playoff spot, and you can see why they're 1 point separated because they seem to be glued to each other on the racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely. Williams was inside the top 5 at one point. Now he's fallen all the way back to 8th, trying to hold on to that from Corcoran.
Man, that's such an important race between those two right there. Believe the parade's about to hit pit road, Hunter. The 31 is in. The second place is going to stay out on the racetrack as well as 3rd and 4th. Everybody else behind him, though, Trevor Williams is in. Excuse me, that's actually Travis Beckner that's hitting pit road. Oh, we got a collision on pit road. The 45 of Beckner goes around. He got spun out, and he was in the middle of a checkup there going down onto pit road. Believed it was contact between the 02 of Jordan Hurley that set the 45 around.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll get our 1 to go replay. It looked like he had an awkward approach at the pit entrance.
Yeah, you'll see it's the 45 of Beckner. I think this is a lap early.
This is the previous lap.
Yeah, all the way to the next lap here if we can.
While we speed it up, give a big hello to our buddy Ken Kushwa, who's in the booth with us last week at Darlington. So we'll see here. We'll go back and take a look at what happened with the 45 of Beckner.
Here comes off of turn 3. They're all trying to hit pit road. You got Hurley, you got Eli Green. Beckner gets down, slams on the brakes, and he almost ran into the back of the 28, which caused the checkup. And the 02 of Hurley gets in the back of Beckner, spins him right around, loses a little bit of time, but honestly, Hunter, all things considered, didn't lose too much time there getting on the pit road.
No, not really, but you typically don't see an accident in pit road.
No.
You typically see it on the racetrack. And the one I keep going back to flashbacks or memories, as you see on the left side, 3rd through 13th are all on pit road. The one time I remember an accident on pit road, like a really bad accident, this was IndyCar. IndyCar, go on.
I was going to say this is a big point right here. You mentioned everybody hitting pit road. Well, one of the few guys that stayed on the racetrack, Sean Corker on the 22, stayed out. He's going to get the lap led point bonus. So right now, that battle, I'm telling you, it's on these drivers' mind. And he stayed out for a reason there, and it was to grab that bonus point for leading the lap and try to build up some playoff security when it comes to that points battle.
Yeah, but it looks like Adam Capps is going to come down pit road also. He missed last week. And as he missed last week, the replacement he had for his car ended up going to victory lane with Justin Anasogok, who, trying to find him, he's currently 10th on our scoring pylon right now. So you see the small scoring pylon there on the left, and we search through the bushes at Pocono and the infield campers to find Anasogok. There he is.
Wow, look at the Leo Hunter. He closed a lot of ground on James Shamwoff. He's only about 2 seconds back. And that was because we saw DeLeo hit pit road so much earlier. So a track position net positive for Dominic DeLeo with his pit strategy. That's going to put him P2.
Absolutely. And I was looking throughout the chat. People were like, where's Mr. Pocono? He calls himself Mr. Pocono, apparently Dominic DeLeo does. Where is he? He's not having a solid night. Well, here's Mr. Pocono. He's up to P2 right now, although with pitting early, you do risk...
Bad news for Mr. Dom DeLeo is he has to come back down and nobody else does.
Yeah,
I was going to say, he's currently 10 laps on his set of tires. Meanwhile, Shane Wolf's on 2. Paul Irvin and Matthew Robinson are on 1. The next one that's closer to Dom DeLeo on tires is Nick Halda, and he's on 12.
If you're a Dominic DeLeo fan, you probably want to start cheering for a caution flag before he comes down pit road again. That would help him. Gain the track position, get the caution flag, come down pit road with everybody else. But yeah, I agree with Harold. Having to come down again is going to cost him a lot, especially here at a track like Pocono. Don't think he'll be able to make up that time.
Absolutely.
But hey, the strategy call nonetheless, you love to see it. He's got to get a win to get in, Hunter. For some reason, he's mired back pretty far in points, even though he's had some good runs this season. So I'm not sure if he'll be able to break into the playoffs on points. So I think that 21 car is pretty much looking for a win.
Well, speaking of good run, let's go ahead and give us our good rundown. I would say halfway, but we're past halfway. Let's get a rundown of your top 10 here presented by Swift Lifestyles. Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that help improve your focus and gaming. Use discount code AREA iRacing, AREA iRacing, for 15% off your entire order. We would like to give a big thanks to everyone at Swift Lifestyles and their support of the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. That's being dominated right now by James Shamewolf. He's led every lap but 4, and that was because of green flag pit stops, but it seems like he's the car to beat at Pocono. Might break through and finally get that win.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for James Shamewolf so far this season. He's the guy you look at and you wonder how he doesn't have a victory already. But here's a guy you look at and you don't see a car number. Paul Irvin running second in the number 4, making his first start here tonight in the area. One of my old buddies from a long time ago, used to race for JBR. Now he's racing over there with, looks like he's with the Audible Racing team right now, helping them out. But he's running second tonight with a strong run so far. And right behind him, Dominic DeLeo. He had the pit strategy to get him out inside the top 2. Now he's fallen back to 3rd, but DeLeo's still having a solid run at one of his home racetracks here at Pocono.
You see, he's from Piscataway, New Jersey. That's just across the Delaware River that runs through the entire state lines, if you will, between Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Goes all the way down into the Delaware Canal, and then it goes into the Atlantic Ocean. You see Matthew Robinson there in the 40, still in this paint scheme from the previous week at Darlington, although he's making himself known as he's one of the faster cars in the field, holding the top 5 at the moment. Yeah, I believe he just passed Dominic DeLeo, so he's up to 3rd now. But don't count on Matthew Robinson just yet.
And we're going to get back here to Eli Green running 5th, the final driver in the top 5. Eli had a tough start to the night, had to qualify all the way back in the 11th spot, which for him is not indicative of the speed of that race car. So he's moved his way inside the top 5. He's had to do it by fighting his way through the field, and he's done so, and he's looking pretty quick in that Swift Lifestyles number 28.
Right behind him, the 02 of Jordan Hurley. He's come from the furthest in the field. He started back in 24th, didn't put down a lap in qualifying. worked his way all the way up to about 7th before pit stops, and then had a little bit of an incident on pit road between Eli Green and then the 45 of Beckner, Travis Beckner. Doesn't seem like that affected him too much as he's currently running 6th. And here's last week's winner, Justin Anasogok. Different car, got a different sponsor on it with Audible. He's running in the 7th spot. He was running 2nd at one point, right behind Shane Wolf, but pit stops have cycled him back to 7th at the moment.
Running 8th, the One Mind to Design Motorsports entry of Forrest Smith, who's also in his own right, got to give him some credit, been very, very consistent since he's been in this series as well. Ever since week 2, you always see that 84 running inside the top 10. He's doing it again tonight here at Pocono. Right behind him, the 9th place driver, Trevor Williams, who's in that tight points battle with Sean Corcoran for the final playoff spot, that number 1 car. He's got the advantage. Well, actually, they'd be tied right now. He's 1 spot ahead of the 22, but the 22 has a lap led, so they would be tied right now for that final playoff spot again. So kind of funny how that works, and that's our run-through of the top 10 presented by Swift Lifestyles. Hunter mentioned it. Use code AREA iRacing at swiftlifestyles.com. Get yourself 15% off. They got some awesome energy drinks, some awesome mixers for your, kind of gamer fuel-like items. I mean, essentially, it's a similar product. But my favorite is they got some really cool merch as well. So I saw Dom DeLeo ordered himself a pair of shorts. I'm going to have to get a set of Swift Lifestyle shorts as well. And use code AREA iRacing for 15% off.
You mentioned Dom DeLeo. Looks like he's running short on tires because he's falling back another spot. Eli Green to the inside of him. That's for the 4th spot. You mentioned they got shorts. I'm a big shorts guy. I'm going to have to go and get me some shorts from Swift Lifestyles.
Yeah, the shorts are pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. So we're gonna have to look into doing a giveaway or something with them. Maybe everybody here can get some shorts in the chat. I gotta know though. We gotta see how many people are watching. That's the key thing. So if you guys are watching and you're not typing in the chat, let me see you say something in the chat so we can get Swift Lifestyles on board with maybe a giveaway or something when we come back here after the holiday break. Hunter, we're gonna have a few weeks off here after tonight, man, for the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series.
Yeah. So next couple of weeks, I believe. Is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? It's going to be a long 2 weeks. It's going to be a long 2 weeks regardless. So the next week will be, it'll be Christmas. It'll be Christmas week, and then, I can't believe it. And then the next week will be New Year's. So we will be back on air after this week in 2022. So I'm looking forward to the new year and some new positive energy and maybe some new paint schemes probably for some of these guys and a new push to make the playoffs for those that are on the outside looking in.
And how about kicking off that 2-week break when we return? It's going to be Talladega Super Speedway.
Oh, I can't wait for that. We haven't seen a Super Speedway, well, up until now. For these cars, it's a Super Speedway, but really since Daytona. Daytona, Talladega, Pocono, those three are typically the longest tracks that we go to.
Talladega is going to be insane. And with these cars, the way they barely can push, they really can't push, honestly. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out at Talladega.
Always got to be aware of the big one. And it can happen at any track other than Talladega. We can get a restart right here, and then we can bunch them up going down the backstretch or into turn 1. It could happen. Seen it happen quite a few times here at Pocono in real life. We see here, this is the battle for second now. Matthew Robinson up to second. Said it when we were going through our not-so-halfway rundown. Don't count him out. He moved up to second. He's past Paul Irvin. Paul Irvin's doing a really nice job. And I gotta believe it's the camouflage that's helping him blend in the wall, so people they don't see him.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I mean, you see the camera, though, right there inside of turn 3. One of the things I've noticed is that 40 of Matthew Robinson is creeping up onto the 31 of James Shanewolf, which if you're a James Shanewolf fan, probably not what you wanted to see. Matthew Robinson already has a victory on the season here in the Swift Lifestyle Pro Series. James Shanewolf winless in over 23, I believe, area starts across all 3 series. So he's trying to get that first win. Right now, though, the 40 starting to hunt him down. Right in front of the 31, though, he's got some lap traffic to deal with. I'm curious how that works out. The 51 of Mark Patterson, who got a black flag during his pit stop for his pit exit, so he had to come down, serve that penalty. He's 1 lap down on the verge of going 2 laps down right now.
Yeah, I want to touch up on James Shamwolf. He's tied for second for top 10s this year. Obviously, the first being Matthew Robinson, who's got a top 10 and a top 5 in every race, but he's in a three-way tie for second in top 10s between himself, Jordan Hurley, and Forrest Smith. And for Forrest Smith, that's a big reason why One Mind to Design is just 14 points heading into the night behind Samson Motorsports for that owner's title.
Yeah, that's a key thing, man. These the payouts for this team championship, only first place gets it. So the win is really all that matters when it comes to the owners championship. And Curtis Vollmer and the team Samson, I know they really, really want to try hard to get it, but also One Mind to Design, they've done a fantastic job as well. And I wouldn't count out Audible Racing either with James Shamewolf and the O2 of Jordan Hurley. They're not out of the picture yet either. They might be able to make a comeback.
Now, this is an interesting strategy that Dom DeLeo's got because he's going to have to pit within the next 5 or 10 laps, or he could try and stretch it. But I honestly, I would assume that after he drops outside the top 10, he would be hitting pit road. That's just my thought, because at that point, you're not really up there. Although 11th, 12th, 13th, that's still a good spot for him. Probably think of the bigger picture, maybe get some tires, get fastest lap. And who knows, caution could come out. We've seen it happen plenty of times where there's a late race yellow, and we have a green-white checkered setup. And especially pitting on a racetrack like Pocono, he could pit right now and come out still on the lead lap. And then say a caution comes out, and they'll cycle up to the front.
I got to agree with you there. I think the time to pit is probably cut your losses sooner rather than later and try to make that time back up. So Dominic DeLeo, though, still inside the top 10 for now. He's got Sean Corcoran looking to get around him. But how about Matthew Robinson, Hunter? I wanted to look at James Shamewolf here for a moment. I think that lap car of Mark Patterson, who's about 10 car lengths out in front of him, that might be affecting the 31 of James Shamewolf, because ever since he's gotten in the view of that 51 car, we see the 40 reeling him right back in. So we might have a race for the win on our hands, possibly some lap traffic in the mix, and I wouldn't count out Paul Irvin in his first start either.
Yeah, before those drivers crossed the line, Shamewolf ran about a 56.6, and then Robinson ran a 56.2, so it was over 0.3 quicker than Shamewolf. And I'm really starting to get deja vu, because it looked like this last week.
Absolutely.
With 3 drivers, 2 of which tonight going for their first win. Shamewolf hasn't won yet. And then Paul Irvin, who he's making his debut tonight. Could we see 2 in a row, a driver making their first start in any of the leagues, get their first win?
If I'm not mistaken, Hunter, wasn't Justin Anasogak, wasn't he third 2 of the 3 cars last week? And he was the one who pulled through and got his first win, so Paul Irvin's in a lucky spot.
Yeah, very well could be. See, we're nearing. Go on.
One thing that did stay the same, though, was in both situations with, coming to 10 to go, it was the same guy leading it. James Shamewolf last week, James Shamewolf this week.
Yeah, I wonder if he learned from his mistake last week, in which second and third nearly wrecked each other in the back, and then heading into turn 3, Shamewolf hit the wall at the wrong time in the wrong place, and that basically costed him the race right there.
He's still got that 51 right in front of him, and I just got to think that's got to be affecting that machine a little bit. He's not been able to close in on that 51 as quick as you would think he would, and because of that, he's actually got another lap car. The 34 of Rick Ward is the next car available in front of them, because he just got lapped by Mark Patterson. Looks like Rick Ward's actually going to be hitting pit road possibly. There he goes. So Shamewolf, he's got one lap car out of the way. Now he's got the 51 still left to deal with.
Folks, keep your eye on this battle. This could turn into the battle for the win, but right now it is the battle of the race presented by Northern Capital. We would like to give a big thanks to Russ and Steve Anderson of Northern Capital for their support of the Northern Capital Truck Series, in which you can catch tomorrow night's action here at Pocono. Same track, just another handful of laps or so. And it'll be at the same time tomorrow night, 8:40 Eastern on the Uriah Twitch channel.
This is deja vu to the max, Hunter. 10 to go, 3 cars battling for the win. Shamewolf is the leader. The guy who's never ran before is third, and Jordan Hurley's in fourth, running them all down slowly but surely. It is literally the exact same situation we saw last week at Darlington.
Looking at Jordan Hurley, his last lap was a 56.5. just a little bit slower than Paul Irvin, but nonetheless, he could have a shot here at the very end.
It's literally the exact same scenario as last week, which is incredible given how different the racetracks are.
Here's Paul Irvin looking to the bottom. This is a battle for second. Robinson's just going to let him go. Rather than battling for a handful of corners or laps, just get it done out of the way. So we could see the 4 of Paul Irvin catch Shane Wolf.
Yeah, and Paul Irvin now, who's moved into second, he's gotten around Matthew Robinson. I'm curious if that's a strategy move on Matthew Robinson's part, if he's trying to save a little bit of tire, let those two get up front and start racing, because as soon as two cars get side by side for the lead, third place will catch them in a hurry. It won't take much. Won't take much time at all. So you want to stay single file if possible, which is what I think Matthew Robinson was thinking there. He let Paul Irvin get around him, and now he's in conservation mode as he's going to watch these two battle it out.
Yeah, we should point out all these guys are good to go on fuel. It's just a matter of how much tire you have left, really, because Paul Irvin and Matthew Robinson, they've been using up more tire than the leader Shane Wolf, trying to hunt him down. Seems like Shane Wolf is just buying his time and just taking control of the tires, really, just not using as much as he could. And there you see Dominic DeLeo. He's fallen all the way back. Don't think he pitted. No, he did. He just came out of pit road. So inside 10 to go now, Dominic DeLeo pits, and he's good to go the rest of the way on fuel, and he's got the better tires. But unless a caution comes out, which it could happen, but unless that yellow comes out, he's basically stuck back in 20th.
Yep, last car on the lead lap as well for Dominic DeLeo. Just in front of him is Travis Beckner in the 45, but the 4, Paul Irvin, now he's the one reeling in James Shane Wolf, and Matthew Robinson's actually fallen off a lot more than I anticipated.
Yeah, that last lap he ran into the 58s, and the top 2 are running in the 56s.
Yeah, so maybe he's just extremely saving tires, perhaps saving fuel. I mean, we thought these drivers were good to go, but you know, there's a chance maybe some of them are a little bit closer to the mark than they want to be. Still kind of.
Boy, that was a really good corner from Paul Irvin.
Yeah, it really was, but I'm still surprised these guys just, you know, the 51 of Mark Patterson, I mean, he's fallen a lap down. He had that penalty. But when you compare the lap times in the earlier portions of the race, you know, he was well off pace compared to the 31 of James Shane Wolf, but it just seems like a completely different story now. I mean, Mark Patterson's hanging within a tenth of our race leader each lap, by the way. So lap times are almost similar for the 51 and the 31.
Meanwhile, Paul Irvin closes so closer to that bumper of the 31 of Shane Wolf. So there it is. You see him. He's right in front of the leader and seems to be running on pace with the leader.
Yeah, he definitely is, which is pretty remarkable, really, all things considered. Looks like Irvin got a little bit of a high entrance there into turn 1. Might have cost him a little bit of time there as Shane Wolf's kind of stretching that lead back out. But still within striking distance for both of those drivers. As we come around, we're going to get 7 laps to go. Make it 6 laps to go when they hit the stripe, actually. No, 7 to go. My math is off.
I don't know if we can see another Kyle Larson move where they wall ride the last turn. I don't think that will work.
No, but if we were going to see it, it'd probably be tomorrow night or Wednesday night with Cameron Hearn.
that is true. He is the only driver to do that. Well, there were a handful at the very end last week that did it for, giggles.
That wasn't on purpose.
No.
Dixon, Darlington on that last lap, probably most of the field's hitting the wall. And there was about 3 or 4 of them trying to race for a top 5, and Eli Green, Jordan Hurley, a bunch of them sliding off the wall. It was pretty exciting, but you're right. They definitely hit the wall pretty good there on the last lap. Looks like Travis Beckner, I believe, just in front of the 51.
Yep.
So he'll be the next car to go a lap down.
Travis Beckner, yeah, he's in front of Patterson too.
Man, how will this affect the outcome of the race? Because, oh, look at that battle you got. That's the 1 at the front of your screen there of Trevor Williams. The 22 is Sean Corcoran. The 28 of Eli Green, who's making the move on the bottom. That is for the 8th position there between those 2 drivers.
Yeah, neck and neck there. There's battles still throughout throughout the top 10 and throughout the rest of the pack. There you see Green on the bottom. That's what they called it on the outside.
Yeah, Holden actually having a really strong run as well. He's been kind of slowly making his way inside the top 10. He's there now. Speaking of who he's there now, how about Paul Irvin? This is the closest we've seen them all race to the 31 of James Shane Wolf. Man,
Yeah, they're getting closer to Patterson now.
what's Patterson going to do here? Because, I mean, Shane Wolf is almost on his back bumper now, heading into the tunnel turn, which is probably the sketchiest corner on the racetrack. Patterson just in front of our race leaders. He's going to come off of turn 2. He's going to stay high, it looks like, and Shane Wolf is going to try to pass him on the bottom, but Patterson's really not laying over too much.
Yeah, this really surprises me, as now he'll let him go. He'll let both of them go, I would
That
assume.
played into Paul Irvin's favor, though.
Absolutely. He had the better exit there that time. And then down this long pond straightaway as we cross the stripe. 5 to go now. That draft really helps out. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see Shane Wolf start to do a little snake pit a little bit, try and break up that draft on the straights.
Yeah, he might have to do something because the 4 is there. This is the closest anybody's been all night to James Shane Wolf, and it's with 5 laps to go here at Pocono. A green flag race, our last broadcast, by the way, the Southern 500, 200 laps at Darlington, went completely green. Do we see the same tonight?
Not 200 laps, but about 55 maybe. We've gone at least 50 green. We could go the rest of the remaining
I was
5.
thinking about a green flag. Yes. 55 green flag laps perhaps tonight, which is also an incredible feat for this ARCA series. Got to give a big shout out to Swift Lifestyles again.
Shane Wolf still leading. Paul Irvin still holding on second. Then Robinson got the gap between, well, it was under 2 seconds, but not really sure what happened there. On corner exit, he got a really wobbly exit. Nonetheless, we got 4 to go here at Pocono.
Now it looks like since that 51 has gotten out of the way of the 31, Shane Wolf has been able to kind of run more competitive laps a little bit, but Paul Irvin's still tailing him on the back bumper, just a little bit, maybe half a tenth slower that time by. So it's not much of a difference, but every little bit helps when you're getting down here within 3 to go, 4 laps to go at Pocono, trying to win your first race for both of these drivers.
Trying to think, what is Travis Beckner gonna do in his role in this finish? Because he could very well be a factor into either one of these guys losing or winning.
Well, when you're in Travis Beckner's position right now, one of the key things is you're trying to stay on the lead lap in case you do get a caution, so that way you can maintain your position, try to do a strategy play from there. But for the moment for Travis Beckner, when that white flag hits and you know that you're not getting a caution flag, you probably will see him just pull over, pull out of the way, and let these guys go by. But right now, he's got a lot to race for. He's trying to stay on the lead lap.
Yep, 3 laps to go now as they head down the back stretch here.
I'm curious to see if we see Matthew Robinson turn it back on. It looked like he was hesitating there the last handful of laps. I didn't know if that was a strategy call or if the tires just weren't there on the 40. Maybe he tried saving them. We'll have to see if he starts picking the time back up, and he's got a long way to go.
I just think the tires aren't there. He's too far back at this point to make a charge. So it looks like Shane Wolf's starting to create some separation now between himself and Paul Irvin. As he approaches closer to the bumper of Travis Beckner, the lap car.
Ooh.
So we see 2 laps to go now.
Irvin got a terrible exit there off of turn 3, cost him a lot of time, and that draft that James Shane Wolf got from the lap car played right into his hands. He was able to get a big suck down the front straightaway up to the back bumper of the 45, use that draft, go low in turn 1, and he's going to clear Travis Beckner and move him 1 lap down. We'll have to see if the 4 right behind him can do the same.
Yeah, that was a bad place for Paul Irvin to have a mistake.
Cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, Shane Wolf's about to pull over a second now on Paul Irvin.
And all he wants to do is make it off of turn 3 and see that white flag in the air, because that to him signifies that this race is going to be coming to an end. We'll see if he can make it there as he's coming through turn 3 with 2 to go.
Yep, it looks like we're going to finish this under green. White flag in the air one more time around at Pocono for James Shane Wolf.
Shane Wolf has had the dominant car all night long here at Pocono. He started on the front row. He actually started second, though. He was able to grab the lead and has not looked back since. He set sail He was gaining a second on his teammate Justin Anasogok, gaining a second on the number 02 of Jordan Hurley, and I'm just gonna shut up and let Hunter call this finish.
So he works his way through the tunnel turn for the final time. The only drivers that could touch him were put somewhat of a battle between him. Justin Anasogok, who's currently running 5th, and then Paul Irvin, who with 2 to go, made a mistake coming off turn 3. So he rolls through turn 3 for the final time. What turn 4? There is no turn 4. James Shanewolf, a dominating performance. He'll come off the corner and win at Pocono. He wins at Pocono.
His first career area win for James Shanewolf. I know that's been a long time coming. The relief is probably starting to set in for him. Definitely has had fast race cars all season long, but he finally gets it done for the first time in area.
You got a driver hitting the wall there. I believe that was Dustin Carroll in 92. He'll come across the stripe 14th, but look at that flagman. He's so happy. He gets to wave another flag.
How about the important battle between Corcoran and Williams? Corcoran gets the edge. He finishes 1 spot in front of him and gets a bonus point for leading a lap, so that'll grow that margin a little bit for him. Good day for the 22 team.
Boy, he is still going.
Well, we're about to see James Shanewolf coming off of 3. There he is. Our race winner, James Shanewolf. He's probably going to do some burnouts that he's been waiting to do for a very long time here, and he's going to do them at Pocono after a dominant performance. The audible racing machine, James Shanewolf, going to burn it down here in the tricky triangle, or not. Maybe he'll just park it down on the front stretch. There he goes.
Gotta make sure you back it into the wall so you can pass post-race inspection.
And that's all we get. So let's pull him up, Hunter. How about it? He's celebrating on the front straightaway. Finally got the victory. Oh, looks like he's actually got team owner Adam Capps. Is that what I'm seeing here? Are we going to get a double burnout?
Oh, someone just hit the... I think it was Jordan Hurley. He just hit the barrels. Boy, pit road is one treacherous place tonight. You thought the tunnel turn would be more treacherous.
Let's go ahead and talk to our race winner, none other than Mr. James Shanewolf. Finally, after a ton of starts, it feels like, across all 3 series you race in. You're racing the ARCA series, you're racing the Truck series, you're racing the Xfinity series, and we thought you were going to have a win by now, and you've had a couple close calls here and there, but in your 24th career race in area iRacing, you finally get the victory.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. It feels good to finally win one of these things. Feel like I got the monkey off my back finally. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I ran out of fuel. Couldn't do a burnout for you guys. Sorry about that. I forget how to do them anyway. It's been too long.
So you ran out of fuel at the very end?
Oh yeah. I was on the cooldown lap. I ran out.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, but you took the question I was gonna say right out of my mouth. Finally got that monkey off your back. What are you gonna do now before the playoffs start in order to try and get an extra advantage on your competition?
Well, we're locked in over here, so we can just full send, try different things, try different strategies to try and see how they work. But yeah, man. Sorry, my kid is crawling on my lap right now.
Yeah, you're all good. hey, he's probably excited too, man.
They watch the races every week.
Exactly.
But,
and they knew it was a long time coming, and it was going to happen soon. And we knew it too, man. We saw the speed all season long. I know last week at Darlington, you led most of the race. You get down to 10 to go. You hit the wall. The 55 gets by you, and it's another one that you felt like you let go. Did that creep into your mind here tonight when we got within 10 to go and they started catching back up to you?
Yeah, all my team was reminding me of how bad I stepped on it last week, and they're like, don't do it again. For about the last 10 laps of the race, I was getting told to just focus and hit my marks, to put it nicely. They definitely reminded me of how many times that I've given these away tonight, and we're like, don't do it tonight. So I guess that helps. Constructive criticism, I guess.
It looks like you got your biggest supporters there in the background as we So we close it out here. Any shout outs you want to give out before you head out?
Yeah, shout out to Adam Capps at Audible Entertainment. Everything that guy does for me, he helps me out a ton, man. I just got a new wheel this week. This is actually my first full race on it. Went from a Logitech to a Fanatec, so it's a huge upgrade, and it's obviously paid off already. And got to thank Michael Larch for that over at JW Racing. He hooked me up with this wheel. Also, shout out to Matthew Robinson. That was his Logitech I was racing on. My wheel broke last season, so I wouldn't be racing if it wasn't for the guys over at JW. Shout out to Swift Lifestyles for sponsoring the series. Everybody here at ARIA, all the admins, Jacob for putting the show on. Great place to come race, man. If anybody is looking for a real competitive, professionally run league, this is definitely it, man. I back this league with everything I have, man. It's gonna grow into something big.
All righty, we'll let you go and celebrate your win. Have a good night, James.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was your race winner there, James Shane Wolf. And now let's bring up our second place finisher in his first race in the area. This is Paul Irvin. Paul, this is Hunter, Harold, and Jake in booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Oh, all right, Paul. Well, the fans at home can't see it, but on their screen and on our screen, you have a plain white race car. And it seemed like that was camouflage tonight, and it worked very well. Although Pocono, we typically see a different type of camouflage for hunting. You were hunting for your first win in your first start. Take us through those last 5 laps and what that was like for you.
Yeah, so I pretty much knew it was going to be a fuel mileage race, just hoping that it stayed pretty clean the whole race. Yeah, final 5 laps, started pushing it. I knew that Shane Wolf had pit a lap earlier, and I was only a lap and a half to the good by my calculations. So I was hoping if I could get up to him and force him to use his stuff a little bit more than he wanted to, that maybe I could get him to run out. But unfortunately, he did a good job of saving the early part of the run, and he managed to just pull away from me there at the end.
Well, Paul, I had you on JBR a few seasons ago. I was talking to Hunter and the rest of the broadcast viewers about that. But man, you had a really fast car tonight. Was there a moment there when you were catching James that you thought you were about to get a victory in your first start tonight, or were you trying to conserve fuel like you said with James and just trying to make it to the end?
With about 7 or 8 to go, when I was right at his back bumper going into 1, is whenever I had the thought that maybe I could win this thing. If that next corner, if I'd got to his back bumper and just a little bump and run, nothing too crazy. 1 is wide enough to where he could catch it. But that's when I thought, and then 2 and 3 he just pulled away and didn't look back.
Well, hey man, it was a good run, and it was about time to see James get his first win there. So I'm sure he was sweating a little bit when he saw you get to his back bumper there. Is there any special shout outs you want to give before we let you go here on your second place run here tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out Adam Capps. You guys might have seen just a plain white car, but it is a white, black, and gray Audible car that I was driving tonight. Audible Entertainment's car. So us being able to get 1-2 is huge. So I want to shout him out for getting the paint scheme ready for me so quick. Shout out to Shane Wolf for the win, much deserved. Always a pleasure running with him. We run hard. We might not run each other the cleanest at times, but there's always that respect there. So glad he could get the win. And shout out to you guys for putting on a hell of a show and letting me jump in here and run with you guys.
Absolutely, Paul, man. Congrats on the second place.
Thank you, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your second place finisher, Paul Irvin. Now let's get our third place finisher, Matthew Robinson. Matthew, this is Hunter, Harold, and Jacob in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right. Well, you seemed like you were going to have a shot last week to get a top 3. Didn't happen at the very end, although you're running the same paint scheme from last week to give yourself a little bit of good luck, and it worked out for you. So take us through your night, and we saw at the very end that you let the 4 of Irvin go on the inside down in the turn 1. Were you just kind of letting him go so you can both of you guys can catch the leader Shane Wolf, or did you just not have anything left?
Well, I was trying to save a little bit of fuel and just to make it. I didn't know James and Paul were going to make it. I knew Paul was on my lap when we pitted. We pitted the same lap, and I wasn't real sure about James, so I was just trying to make sure I was good. We had a pretty comfortable lead over fourth, so I wasn't really worried about them, and just trying to. I think I did burn my stuff up a little bit trying to run down Paul and James, but no, I was just trying to save a little bit, make sure I was solid, and um, but we come on strong there at the end. James just had too big of a lead to overcome.
I was going to say, we talked to Shane, we talked to James Shanewolf earlier. He said he ran out of fuel trying to do burnouts, and he pitted, I'm looking through, he pitted, he was on 27 laps, so you were just a lap behind him, and you were saving fuel. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it was like one lap left when I took the white flag, so I don't know if I was in the gas, just burning in the gas more than he was or what, but that is sort of strange, and I saved, so but yeah, I'm not sure. It was pretty close for me.
Yeah, because our pre-race, we had fuel slated anywhere from 25 to 30, and didn't look like we saw anyone there go close to 30. So that was just an interesting thought. I don't know if Jake has any questions for you or not.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Congrats, man, on the third place run. I was watching you battle it out with those guys. I thought maybe you're going to get yourself another victory here tonight. But, kind of touch on racing with, I know some of your buddies. You got Paul Irvin, James Shanewolf up front. The competition in this league has really been strong, it seems like, all season long. And what's it like racing your friends out there when it gets down to the wire for the win?
It's awesome. I love racing James. We've been racing for a while and know him, and friends with him in real life, and it's pretty cool. We're able to do this and scratch the itch during the week when you come home from work, and I love this. It's awesome to have stuff like this to do with your friends and everything. And Paul, I don't know if he's new to the league, but he raced pretty clean. He seems like a good guy. So yeah, it's a whole lot of fun.
All right, Matthew. Well, is there any shouts you want to give out before you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank JW Racing and Justin Rideout, Nick Holda, and Trevor Williams, and my spotter Patrick Moore. I'd like to thank Track Racer for sponsoring us, and you can use JW Racing as a promo code on the website. And I'd like to thank James. He painted my car for last week, and I thought it would look a little better in the sunlight, so I might run it to next week too, when it's a little bit more sun, making it pop better than it was last week when it was sort of dark. But yep, good run, keeping that top 5 streak alive.
Absolutely, that's the main part. Consistency is what you want to have whenever the playoffs are coming. All right, Matthew, have a good night.
Alrighty, we'll see you.
Alrighty, that was third place finisher Matthew Robinson. Let's go ahead and take a look at your race results here for tonight's Appalachian Mountains 140. And you see there, James Shanewolf getting the job done, leading the most laps and winning. Second place, Paul Irvin in his first start. Matthew Robinson third. My pick, Jordan Hurley, all the way up to fourth, up 20 spots from the start. And then rounding out the top 5 was last week's winner, Justin Anasogot.
Yeah, hey, not a bad night for our picks here at all by any means. Sean Corcoran comes home 6th with a crucial 1 position advantage over Trevor Williams in 7th. Ford Smith, another top 10 on the season, as well with his teammate Gary Lewis back there in 10th. And Eli Green brings it home in 9th.
Yep, and here we go. 11th place, we got Jeremy Horn. 12th, Adam Capps. 13th, Jordan Berry. 14th, Dustin Carroll. And 15th, J.J. Wang.
Brian Dixon, not the run he was hoping for in his return to the series tonight. He'll come home 16th. 17th, Nolan Nieman. 18th, Dominic DeLeo. The strategy just didn't end up working out for him. 19th, Travis Beckner. And Nicholas Halda brings it home 20th.
And rounding out the field here, Rick Ward, 21st. Mark Patterson, 22nd. Caleb Steimer, 23rd. Bobby Tinch, 24th. And the only DNF of the night was Ryan Swan in 25th. Let's go take a look at our Elwood Designs race recap. James Shanewolf led 52 of the 55 laps, getting the job done. For the second straight race that we've broadcasted, 0 cautions. This race went caution-free, and the fastest lap of the race went to Eli Green with a 55.368.
Yep. Quick work here tonight, Hunter. We got 55 laps in the book in a hurry. We'll be back tomorrow night for Northern Capital Truck Series Racing right here on this Twitch channel. We got a big week planned, so I'm excited to get it done with you, man, and looking forward to tomorrow night's race. Want to remind you guys to check out our big fundraiser we got going on all this week, man. Trying to raise some money for those affected by the hurricanes, across the Midwest and the southern states, so tornado relief efforts. All donations go directly to the Red Cross. You can scan the QR code now to get taken directly to that link, or I believe Hunter's probably spamming that link down in the chat, so you guys can check that out as well. So appreciate that, Hunter, and appreciate all the viewers here tonight. Hunter, if you got anything else, man, I'm good to go.
I was just going to get a final word from Harold here. Harold, quiet night, not too much happening, but some good racing at the very end.
Yeah, definitely showing us what can happen at a long triple threat here with the 3 different turns at the tricky triangle. Caution free, that's good for these drivers. 25, and this is sort of the development league for Aria. So
Yeah.
shout out to those guys to be able to go caution free for this event. Tomorrow night we're going to have the trucks, which seems to be our largest entry. So see if they can follow that one up.
Yep, and you can catch that tomorrow night at 8:40 Eastern on the Uriah Twitch channel. From everyone up here, executive producer Harold Darner, second man Jacob Bell. I'm your lead announcer, Ernest Levy, saying so long, and we'll see you later.
What an exciting race brought to you by Wendigo Studios. Here they come out of turn 4 to the white flag, and it's 1 to go. Thank you to all our sponsors, drivers, and viewers. We'll see you at the next turn.